Let's go back to the South Africa story because South African citizens have expressed concern over the recent increase of price of food, commodities and transport fares in the country. The Rainbow Nation last month registered its highest inflation rate since November 2018 amid the impact of the COVID-19 global pandemic. However, some economists believe the high surge of cost of living in South Africa was imminent. Here's more details of that in this report.
It's the highest reading since November 2018, but it didn't come as a complete surprise. Some economists say the annual inflation rate came in line with expectations. That's because it's coming off a low base. Oil prices crashed this time last year as governments around the world imposed lockdowns, forcing businesses to close and restricting the movement of people. Everything measured in the basket of goods rose in May. Food and transport costs were the main drivers.
Food, we've had a couple of outliers as well, the tomato shortages and some of the fruit and veggie shortages and all the rain and everything else. I think one more thing that we just have to take into consideration is that the very low base from which we are coming.
While South Africans struggle to get back into work mode as the economy reopens, they also have to deal with the rising cost of living. Transport was the biggest driver in these latest inflation figures, and that's because petrol prices have gone up almost 42% since last year. Food and non-alcoholic beverages came in 6.7% higher, while the cost of transport rose 15.3% year-on-year in May. Fuel costs went up 37% from 21% in April. Even the price of cooking oil rose significantly, up 8.5% since April, but 30% up since last year.
Everything is up, even like the taxes now. It's difficult to get to work or to wherever you're going because the transport has gone up, the petrol has gone up, so it's difficult to make the ends meet.
Pretty much everything has gone up these days, transport-wise, food cost and everything.
These days you can't do groceries with less than 2,000 rands, for an example, and you still have to pay other bills like rent, water. Electricity is expensive. It doesn't last long like in the olden days.
It's unlikely to get any easier as this number could push the Reserve Bank to hike rates. At 5.2%, the inflation rate has now gone beyond the midpoint of the bank's target band of 3 to 6%.
Need higher interest rates in South Africa to attract scarce capital, not just in the short term to support the currency, but also in the longer term to support the economic growth. I'm just hoping they might give us 2 or 3 more months of breathing room, especially for the consumer that we know is still under a lot of pressure.
The Reserve Bank cut rates by 300 basis points last year and said it would keep the rate low as long as inflation remained at a moderate level. With consumer inflation now over 5%, it's unlikely that the bank can delay a rate hike any longer.